Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing. Sorry about that. Uh, for this video, I'm going to be discussing a 1983 classic, which has been parodied all over the place and has been made fun of over the years, and that's the 1983 film Flashdance. Yes, I'm actually going to go there. Flashdance is one of the more iconic films from the 1980s, and it started this trend of dance films. Because after Flashdance, you had Footloose, starring Kevin Bacon, and then of course a few years after that, where you had Dirty Dancing. So it actually kind of ended with Dirty Dancing because there were more real dancing films after that. But Flashdance actually started this trend of dancing films, and it also was parodied all over the place. Starting with there was a Peanuts special called Flash Beagle Charlie Brown. It was also spoofed on The Simpsons, and was spoofed in a bunch of other places as well. Of course, this movie stars Jennifer Beals as an 18. Well, she was 19 at the time the movie came out. She was 18 years old, and her character was probably an 18-year-old steel worker in a steel mill in Pittsburgh, and who wanted to go to this fancy dance school in Pittsburgh to learn to be a professional dancer. And of course, while she's doing that, she was like I said, she was a welder by day, and at night she was working as a dancer in a cabaret club. And of course, during all this, she falls in love with the boss of the guy who owns the steel mill. She falls in love with the guy, and of course, at the end of the movie, she of course has this big tryout, and of course, she of course makes it into the school, even though you don't actually hear it. She just after her tryout, she runs out of the school and hugs, goes into her boyfriend's arms, and that's it's kind of implied that she made it into the school at the end of the film. But of course, like I said earlier, this movie was influential in a lot of ways. Like I said earlier, it was parodied. The soundtrack was one of the biggest, at the time, was one of the biggest selling albums of 1983, and the song was written and performed by Amy Cowher, who had a Oscar-winning song just 3 years earlier for the song for Fame. She won an Academy Award for Flashdance. For the song "Oh What a Feeling," which was of course was written specifically for the movie. That's why I won the Oscar, because if something is specifically written for a movie, it would 9 times out of 10 will at the very least be nominated for an Academy Award. Of course, this movie was also directed by Adrian Lyne, and you could tell it's an Adrian Lyne movie because of the style. Even though the movie is only like 95 minutes long, so it's a pretty short movie, but the pacing is slow. I mean, it has a consistent story through the whole film, but it's kind of a really slow pace. If it didn't have that slow pace, then it probably would have been maybe 20 minutes shorter. But the movie was stretched out. Also, you had the romance between Jennifer Beals and her boss, which of course is one of the main controversies of the movie, even though it was a big hit over the year, and it was a very big hit at the time, very popular movie. I have the soundtrack myself, and I had 2 of the songs playing in my bar mitzvah back, which was, my bar mitzvah didn't come out until like a year later, but the songs was still big, and was still popular on the radio, and I had it played, and I had the band I had play it. And 2 of those songs was of course Maniac and Oh What a Feeling. I had those 2 songs playing in my bar mitzvah, and everybody was dancing to it like crazy, because that's how big the songs were and how big the movie was. And it was influential because it brought out the leg warmers and the cut off T-shirt, the neck, And the reason why that style became big was that they actually had a T-shirt for Jennifer Beals to wear, but they washed it and it shrunk. So it was very hard for Jennifer. It shrunk so that it became hard for Jennifer Beals to get her head through it. So they cut it out, so cut the shirt so they could get her head through. And of course, because of that, it became a big style. That those cut off T-shirts at the neck, and of course at the arms. It became a big hit. And of course, the famous scene where she's seeing the T-shirt, she's stretched out so, and it's implied that she's only wearing the T-shirt or the sweatshirt, and you can see her taking the bra off, and naturally she didn't show off her body at all, but she went like under her shirt and she pulls her bra off, and that became a big thing too. They didn't know women could do that. You know, take the bras off underneath the shirt. Of course, like I said earlier, this film was controversial back in the day, only because of two things. One, of course, the one thing I briefly mentioned was the romance between Jennifer Beals and her boss, played by Michael Nouri. I believe that's how his last name is pronounced. Because at the time the movie came out, Michael Nouri was 36 years old, and Jennifer Beals was technically she was 19 when the movie came out. But I guess when the movie was filmed, she was actually 18, and they had a love affair together, in the film. So that was probably because he's like robbing the cradle, and and all that stuff. So that's one, controversy. Well, I don't think at the time. I don't remember at the time that they made a whole big deal out of it. Nowadays they make a big deal out of it because people found out how old Jennifer Beals actually was. At the time the movie came out, that she was 18 when the movie was made, but 19 by the time the film came out, and having an affair with a 19-year-old girl, having an affair with a 36-year-old guy. So there's one controversy, but the main controversy for Flashdance was, of course, the fact that Jennifer Beals did not do her own dancing. She didn't dance at all. It kind of mirrored the character, because the character had no formal training, and Jennifer Beals couldn't dance a lick. So what they had was they actually had a couple body doubles during the dance sequence, or a stunt double to do all the dancing. Kind of like with Natalie Portman when she performed in Black Swan. Of course, which is an Oscar-winning role. She didn't do her own dancing in Black Swan. Same thing with Jennifer Beals. She didn't do her own. I mean, there were close-ups of Jennifer Beals' face at times throughout the film, but most of the time during the dance sequence, you didn't physically see her face. She was like shot from a distance. It wasn't close-up like I have the camera here on my computer. You can physically see my face, and I have the computer pretty close to me. But the camera was like so far the distance that it was like it was shot on a tree or something, the proverbial tree, and you could tell that wasn't really her, because if you don't physically see the face, but nowadays with CGI you could digitally edit in the face, or take Jennifer Beals' face and put it on the face of the body double today, because that's what George Lucas and his special effects team did for the Star Wars prequels, and of course the newest movie, Rogue One, where they took Peter Cushing's face and they made digital Peter Cushing in Rogue One. Today they could have done that today, but in 1983 you didn't have that technology back then in 1983 to digitally put Jennifer Beals' face on the body double. You couldn't do it back then. So the way they edited the movie, they edited it without physically seeing Jennifer Beals' face. And you could tell that wasn't it was physically close to what Jennifer Beals' body really is, because she was smoking hot. I mean, I'm not saying she wasn't an ugly woman, but she was physically hot. But she didn't do her own dancing, and of course that was the two big controversies of Flashdance. So of course, a lot of people say, nowadays that is a guilty pleasure. But I think Flashdance today in 2017 is a pretty forgettable film. But throughout the 80s, it was a forgettable movie. But like more than 3-4 years later, now since we're now in 2017, it's a 34-year-old movie. So people come in today and say, "Oh, I can't believe this movie. The movie was lame, and all this stuff." But the film itself is not. It still, to me, it still works. And of course, it is directed by Adrian Lyne, and it was also the first pairing of Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, who of course later on produced the Beverly Hills Cop movies, or at least the first two Beverly Hills Cop films, and and also they produced Top Gun and a bunch of other hits throughout the 80s. But this was really the first pairing of these two guys, and it became it became a big hit, and it became successful producers because of Flashdance. And like I said earlier, the soundtrack was big. Of course, it made Jennifer Beals into a big star. Of course, what a lot of people don't know was that there was another famous Jennifer who was up for the role in Flashdance. And I'm not talking about Jennifer Lawrence. I don't think Jennifer Lawrence was even born yet when the movie was made. The other famous Jennifer was Jennifer Grey. She was up for this movie. Well, according to Wikipedia, Demi Moore was up for the part. And I never heard that Demi Moore was up for this part. I heard Jennifer Grey was up for this part. Because Jennifer Grey did an interview on one of the Dirty Dancing DVDs that came out. I think it was the second one that came out in 2002, 2003. She did an interview for the DVD, and she said that she was. Jennifer Grey claims that she was actually up for the role for Flashdance, and Jennifer Beals just barely beat her out for it. Or so she says, or so Jennifer Grey says. So it would have been kind of interesting to see Jennifer Grey in that role. But thankfully, Jennifer Grey got cast, like 4 years later, got cast for Dirty Dancing, and the rest was history. But at least for her, anyway. But Jennifer Beals was, of course, hot. She was great in the movie. At least, unlike Jennifer Grey, Jennifer Beals was at the right age to do that part, because her character was 18 in the movie. Like I said earlier, she was actually 19 by the time the movie came out. When Jennifer Grey did Dirty Dancing, she was like 10 years too old. And even though she didn't look it, but she was actually 10 years too old to play the part. Because her character, when the movie came out in 1987, I can't believe it's 30 years already. And in August 1987, when Dirty Dancing came out, her character, Baby, was supposed to be 17. In reality, Jennifer Grey was actually 27 years old when she did that, when the movie came out in 1987. So, and of course, considering now she's going to be like 57 years old this year. And she's the only real surviving main cast member left in that movie. Because actually Patrick Swayze died. And anyone gets into Dirty Dancing, but all the main characters, like Robbie the Raider, the guy who owned the resort, her father, the guy playing Jerry Orbach, they're all dead. But for Jennifer Beals, I mean, she had a very decent, maybe not a great career, but at least a decent career since Flashdance came out. So that's my review of the movie Flashdance. Please click on the video, please rate it, feel free to comment, please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my videos not only on my YouTube channel, but at rowdyc.com. There's OWDY, the letter C.com. There's a homepage of the Rowdy Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore. And you can check out all of his content on his website as well. And of course, what I should mention is that I do like Flashdance. I do like people to check out Flashdance if you haven't checked it out. Because it is one of the more quintessential movies of the 1980s, and it is one of the early roles of the early movie that Adrian Lyne did before he got into the sex stuff, which I previously reviewed 3 of his movies. Of course, 9.5 Weeks, Fatal Attraction, and Unfaithful. So if you haven't seen my reviews of those movies, what are you waiting for? So thanks for watching. Catch you next time.